He's almost finished it, didn't he?
It's like
Yeah, but he
40
said it
hours long,
away.
isn't it?
It's more than that, man. Like if you want to play it properly.
If he just goes through the main story, then it's like 16, 17 hours long. I think if he does nothing else, that's how John plays.
That would be peak John. He can't spare 4 hours for love exposure, but he can play a 40-hour game in one day.
Well, I mean, it is still God of War, right? And it's like really fucking good because like I ain't got the PS5, but I just watched like the first part. I think I was watching like Jacksepticeye just play it, and I was like, so fucking good just to watch it. I was like, I can't wait until I get it. But instead, I went over and I got this instead. I waste my time on this instead.
I've got that as well.
That's gonna bug the fuck out. There's so many bug videos going around on Twitter.
Absolutely.
The problem is, me and Rick talked about this last night. I think it's less to do with the game and more to do with the system it's on, because the Switch is like 2 generations behind.
2 generations? Why did Nintendo do that?
No, it's like their process for it is much slower, but it's usually stable. And everyone goes, oh, but I remember playing on like the SNES or like, you know, everyone has like their favorites of like Nintendo console that they always play it. So they just like, they build it slower. Everyone goes, yeah, it's a classic. Except for like the Wii U where no one fucking likes.
I think the problem they have with this is they're being a bit more adventurous with it. Like it's not like your standard Pokemon game that we've played in years past. And the system isn't able to cope, so it's having like massive crashes in its
just like the loading screens and shit.
The frames per second went as low as 5 at one point for some people's games.
Fucking hell. I can't wait. But Pokemon...
I saw a video and it was that someone was doing like a selfie with a character in game, and then the character like fucks up and it starts clapping its hands, but it starts going.
Oh, there's a Reddit post.
Its own arm.
There's a Reddit post I forgot to take a screenshot of. You might find really funny. It's like this guy is like, I was really excited to catch some Pokemon. I've caught a region instead. It's basically. As he's gone to throw the Pokeball, he's everything is sort of frozen out, except like the background of the region that the game is in now. And as soon as the Pokeball has caught something, the screen went blank.
Oh shit! So bad. Apparently, though, Simon, if you wanna, I read something saying like save like really, really regularly, because the longer you go, the more it struggles and the more it's just going to bug out, and they just keep saving as much as you can.
Okay, that's fine. I'll play that afterwards. Oh, but we're not here for Pokemon.
We're here for Batman.
Yeah, we're an adult
here
stream.
for Pokemon. If somebody picks Pokemon, we'd be here for Pokemon, and it is the 20th pick, so we could do that.
Still could happen.
We won't, but we might. But we won't.
Rob, introduce your film.
So yeah, like I said last week, really, because it's my 20th pick, I wanted to do something special.
Some of us weren't here last week.
Well, Alec, I said last week, because it was my 20th pick, I wanted to do something special. And Batman's a character that I can't really remember a time before, if that makes sense. I've made that sound a bit... No, it is sentimental. I'm sticking with it. So I remember when I was like a toddler going to the comic book shop at Chadwell Heath. I don't know if it's still there or not. But yeah, there was like this little sort of independent comic book shop. And I remember going there maybe like sort of like as a 5-year-old or something like that. And my first comic book was a Batman comic, which was probably like... I think it was one of those things where my mum and dad assumed it was like something for kids, but... From what I remember, it was actually pretty graphic. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. And I remember... I remember
Returns, like, no!
And yeah, I remember also as a kid, like I used to get into bed with my mum and dad on a Saturday morning, and I used to ask my dad to draw me a picture, and he always used to draw me pictures of Batman. And I really wish I still had some of them because it'd just be nice to look back on now. But yeah, I always remember that. Just like that's one of my earliest memories. Is just getting into bed with them. My dad drawing me a picture of Batman, and then sort of getting on with my day after that. So I thought Batman would be a good character for this pick, and this is the earliest version of Batman that I remember. And it's a little bit like Police Story because it's a film that I picked going, oh, this will just be cool. It's just something that I think's neat. And then I watched it again before I picked it, and I was like, oh no, this is actually pretty good, which is quite a nice surprise. And I think on reflection, I would probably say that this is one of the best comic book adaptations of all time. And I'm really surprised that you didn't get on with it, Dan.
Explain yourself.
I'm wondering what
yourself.
you like about
I
that.
Woman,
No. No.
quiet,
No.
quiet.
No.
I don't know. I just felt like it kind of did Batman dirty a bit.
What?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Daniel,
What?
say what we watched after.
Oh yeah,
Then they'll understand.
we watched the Killing Joke animation.
Oh,
because
I do not understand at all.
Yeah, I
'Cause-
don't understand either.
no,
I don't know.
yeah,
I think the
this-
love
Killing
story
Joke's
bit of
good,
it
but
was
not as
just.
good as this.
Yeah, this is better than
I
the
don't
Killing
know.
Joke.
It's
to be
a
honest.
Definitely
better
better than
one.
Killing
It's
Joke.
a better one. It's
It's
so
not.
much better.
No,
Oh
it's
my
not.
god. Oh my god. It is.
Better how?
Read the freaking comic.
No, 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 no.
No, don't do
Oh
that.
my god.
Don't start that.
I
Don't start
wanted
that.
to rip my hair out watching that with
Oh.
Daniel.
Oh.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Please put your
Right.
headphones on. It's frustrating me
Right.
so much.
Well,
But
Yeah.
what did Dan think?
Shit.
Oh, do you know what's funny about that? Is Ben has just put Alec into a KSI laugh.
Come on, Daniel, tell what you thought of it.
Oh, fucking hell.
hang on. Let's put my headphones in.
Yes, please do.
I was not expecting that,
Jeez.
Ben. That was.
Oh my god, it frustrated me so much.
Wait a second.
I love that.
Is there a turn?
No, we can still hear
Yeah.
Yeah, I can still hear it.
So Batman.
Okay.
Okay, let's get back into it, right? Look at that.
Yeah, no,
Fuck.
Dan, I'm not having a go at you.
I am.
But when I
Yeah.
saw your scores, I was like, what does Dan like about Batman? If he thinks this is a fight.
I don't know. It didn't really. I don't know. I just didn't think it didn't really kind of sit with me well. I don't know. I don't know. It's just I felt like the whole romance thing kind of.
Good thing about this, the
I
Joker.
don't know. Don't know if I like that storyline, but that was pretty much it, really.
So you just don't like this particular version of Batman, is what you're trying to say?
I'd love the animated series when I was a kid because I think was it Batman or because one of the earliest ones I remember watching was the 50s Superman.
Or the animated one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because for some reason we had a copy of it on VHS, but I remember that quite fondly. But yeah, I really liked the animated one. This story was just a bit. I don't know. Just I didn't really like the
Just
story.
pretend she's not here. Just blink,
Yeah,
blink
you-
twice
Yeah.
Twice.
if you need
Yeah.
help.
That's pretty much it, really.
You just didn't like this particular storyline of this particular Batman. That's fine, I guess.
Pretty much.
No,
I
it's
guess.
not. It's not
Well,
fun.
I mean, no. You can have an opinion. It's a shit opinion, admittedly. You can have an opinion. Killing joke, fucking Jesus.
Yeah, I would go as far as saying, right, that I think this has the best scene, and I suppose I'm getting into favourite scenes a bit early, but I think this has the best scene of any Batman, and there's two of them actually. I think it has the two best scenes of any Batman film. One of them is when he's like bent over at his parents' grave, and he says
Oh,
something
yeah.
along the lines of like,
Fucking
"I didn't expect this. I didn't count on being happy."
Yeah.
Man, that really
Yeah.
gets me. Like, because this is something that, yeah, I don't know. I'm going sort of off course a bit, but this is something that me and Rachel have spoken about. Is kind of like the idea that when we have kids, I really want them to know that although they're never going to meet him, that they did have a granddad on my side. And I'm really conscious of like not forgetting him for that reason. So that scene, man, like it was just, yeah. And then the other one is when he puts the mask on for the first time, and Alfred's like, "Oh shit," because it's like that turning point. I don't think any other Batman film can compete with either of those scenes.
I thought you were going to say another one.
Which one?
I thought you were going to say the one when he proposes and the bats all come out of the earth.
Okay.
I thought that and the gravestone scene I was expecting you to say, because those are the two that kind of go like, holy fuck, can you imagine being Bruce Wayne in that moment where you kind of you're kind of waiting for a sign that this is okay, and then you propose and go, I'm changing the plan, and then just all of these fucking bats come out of nowhere and you're like, motherfucking god.
But I think that's what that's what I think is like that's what I think makes this a masterpiece, right? Is that I said to the others earlier, I think where modern comic book movies kind of like lose their way a bit is because everything is focused on the spectacular thing happening. And the thing that's interesting isn't that the spectacular thing's happening, it's that the spectacular thing is happening to somebody. And in this, you're looking at like what's going on with Bruce Wayne, how is he navigating this, and like what is his motivation for it? And that's why I love that gravestone scene so much, because it's like he's basically dedicating his life to avenge his parents. And then this woman comes along and she's everything that he wants. And he's happy for the first time since this has happened. And then he goes back to the grave and he's like, you know what? Now that I've found happiness, I'm not sure if this is as important anymore. And it's just like, wow, man. I don't think there's any characterization of Batman in any film that's as deep as that.
Yeah.
Feel like there are a few, but this one's definitely one of the most earliest types. It's one of the most like earliest animated ones as well, to be honest.
Well, even when you're talking about like the most recent one, there's an arc there, but shut the fuck up. There's an arc there, but like the arc is in relation to what he understands Batman to be, and like he starts off not knowing what that is yet, and he's just kind of lashing out on people, and like it's kind of formless and it's not helping anyone. And then by the end, spoiler alert, he kind of works it out and he understands where his place is and how it is actually helping people, and just hitting people isn't helping anyone. And he rises above it. Even that's not quite as I really like that as an arc. I think that's but like, yeah, like you say, it's not it's nothing quite as, I don't know, emotional as I don't want to have to, I don't want to include you in me having a double life, because I don't want you to have a day where I don't come home. That's such a, I don't know, that he's really, really fucking human in this, and he's not a guy who comes in, throws a smoke bomb down, beats up 20 guys, and then walks out and goes, yeah, fucking no problem, or whatever. Like he doesn't come away from every fight easy. He has like quite a lot of difficulty, and he keeps coming out of it, and like it was always by the skin of his teeth, and that's the stuff I find interesting. And him struggling with it, and how he can't coexist, how he can't have the two coexisting. Like, yeah, there's loads in that. So yeah, I'd say that is deeper than even like the recent arc.
That's the thing, like, because I think it's easy to like write Batman off as just like a billionaire who sort of does his own thing, but it's like even if you did have all that money and all those resources, like imagine the kind of toll that would take on your life. And I think that's where this does a really good job of characterizing Alfred as well, because when he sees like this kid that he's raised himself put on that mask, he's like, oh man, this is the worst possible thing you could have done.
This is definitely one of the best Alfreds out there. He
Yeah,
was
superb.
so willing. I mean, this is a bit off topic, but like during the animated series, Barbara Gordon finds the Batcave and he just comes in and he's like, "Yes, Master Bruce," and he goes, "Ah, Miss Gordon, I see you found out my secret. Yes, I am Batman." And I was like, he just tried to take the blame. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." Yeah, this Alfred is so critical and sassy, but also because he's still like a father figure to Bruce. He doesn't really want him to continue being Batman, as he keeps saying. He goes, "Did you not want to just take up rugby again?" You know, when he comes back, like fucking all bandaged up. It's like, and he's like, he doesn't want him to be. I think I feel like all Alfred's though.
I think he is supportive of it, because I think he'd obviously of the two prefer he went into rugby, but he is going to go like, well, if you're doing this, I'm going to be doing it with you and stuff. But just having him be the guy to say to Batman, "I wiped your fucking ass."
Yeah. I don't think your bottom Master Bruce. I think I know what you're talking about. So
and
good.
he keeps coming in when they're like fucking making out, and he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" it's such a human little interaction.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm gonna stop doing this."
See, that's what's so good about their relationship. He's so like deadpan. He's willing to take jibes and remarks at Bruce wherever he can, but he is always there for him. And whether Alfred, you see him as the surrogate father to Bruce, he's definitely like key in Batman, how Batman is and who he is as a person. And I think the dynamic between the two characters was probably the most important thing you have to get right when you do a Batman story. And they nailed it.
Even stuff like at the end when this is something like this is something I quite like about the character though, because sorry, I'm just gonna blow the whole thing. When Andy is going on about he's saying like vengeance isn't the answer, and she's like, "You have no cause to say that to me," and he stands there, he's like, "Oh," and like that's something that kind of hits him, and he's just like. And I was like, Bruce, come on, man, what are you doing? And I was originally like, man, I'd that. Do you think that? And then I was like, yeah, you do think that. You're fucking guilty as fuck all the fucking time. Like you spend most of your life fucking just torturing yourself over shit you had no control over. Of course you feel guilty about this. And it takes Alfred to go, like, that's not you. You couldn't help her. She wants vengeance. That's it. And you have got past that. There's nothing you could have done. And like he is still taking that parental like dynamic is still there. It's I was really impressed with like this film, because I was like, this is something for children. And like it you can, I'm sure, obviously you did enjoy it as a child and you did process it as a child, but there's so much just mature shit going on, and there's some really complex little like psychological moments there.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I think as a kid, you're probably watching it going like, "Oh, this is Batman and the Joker's there, so that's fun." And like, there's a villain who's like really like dark and mysterious, and that's fun. And this is all really cool. And that's kind of just what I remembered it as. And then watching it this time, I was just like, "Oh shit!" There's so much going on. Like it's, and I think that's what's really cool about the setup as well. Is because you've got, well, like we were saying, you've got that relationship between Bruce Wayne and Alfred. So you kind of understand what's made Bruce Wayne the person he is now. Because in all, like, basically all the other origin stories, it's kind of like, well, Bruce Wayne's parents died this way, and now he wants to get revenge, kind of thing. And that's sort of where it stops. But where you've got Alfred in that kind of parent role, and you kind of seeing sort of like how he's perhaps like guided him. And then you've also got that external influence of him falling in love, and like how Alfred reacts to that, how he reacts to that. It's just like, yeah, I think it's so thoughtful, and yeah, yeah.
I think for me, the love story in this is quite pivotal of how it works, and it works because I feel it doesn't feel like it's like sometimes you feel it's a bit hand-on and ham-fisted in the approach of it, but I think how they do it right was how well they weaved in their relationship from the very beginning, using flashbacks in a way of retelling Batman's origin, but without telling it in a linear way. So already that was a refreshing approach to tell you the story of him becoming Batman without doing it step by step that we all know.
This wasn't a storyline that was explored in like the show itself, wasn't it? This was like the first time you guys saw this.
Yeah, that's 100% true. They never did the origin of Batman in the show at all. They only made hints of it.
Weirdly though, they did the origin of the skylight, but not the origin of Batman.
Oh yeah.
Well, you gotta get the important stuff out.
So yeah, and to build on that, and I feel Andrea is a fascinating character and villain because she kind of does what Batman has been repressing himself not to do. He doesn't kill, obviously, and that's the core thing about Batman that everyone doesn't give enough credit. He does not kill no matter what, no matter how bad things get. That is more his moral code. And Andrea literally breaks that code, and Alfred is the one who's warning him. He's like, you can't go back once you've done it. And he's always so thankful that he never would cross that line, you know. And Bruce, I think, he's so torn. The conflict of being happy with her and the fact that she's come back into his life after so long being apart. There was so much depth and nuance there, I feel. And the conflict and the emotional baggage that must be on his shoulders when he's going through that is just it's really heavy for a kids movie, and everything about it is done in such a way that they're taking this film so seriously. They're not making just a Saturday morning cartoon. They're telling a drama, like Rob mentioned. It's just a straight up story about a guy dealing with grief and how he copes with it, and a woman dealing with her grief and how she copes with it, and how both of them react different ways, but still have a different approach, even if it's this sort of like the same sort of like vigilantism that they choose. And I feel it's really quite fascinating to see how both kind of like on this parallel tangent and then they sort of break. So it's really, there's a lot to think about, and that's why I think it still holds up, at least for me.
I think a credit for it as well is that the Phantasm was an original character for it, because it's sorry, Sam.
I was going to say, wasn't he based off the Spectre from the comic book series? I'm pretty sure he's based off someone. I don't think it's quite original.
Yeah,
it's original. So the character design is based on the Reaper from Year 2.
Oh, Reaper, yeah, not Spectre. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, Reaper.
Yeah, but in terms of like an actual character, it's original. It's just the design that they took from the Reaper.
I do like a man with ghost powers. That's not original.
Well, I mean, no. Well, yeah, that's true as well, right? Yeah.
A man with a double life who wears a mask and fights crime. That's not original. Well, I guess
just think like there's so much that could go wrong there, because creating an original character for a film of a comic book adaptation where they've managed to use it to show how Bruce Wayne became the person that he is and why Batman is the sort of persona that it is. I think that's like, that's a huge credit towards it.
But admittedly, they still had to bring in Joker some reason, because it's like, oh, well, people not really like our original character. Just bring the Joker in for the like second and third acts.
They did him so well though.
You got Mark Hamill. You might as well.
I think
that's true. That's very true.
It's kind of like one. Sorry to interrupt.
No, sorry.
It's a perfect example of how they use Joker in a very minimal amount of time, but he has such a great impact, and he doesn't. Sure, you could make the argument he does steal the show a bit. However, Andrea's arc is still not interfered with the slightest. He serves her arc in every way.
Yeah,
and it just works. I feel that the final act is just brilliant in terms of how it all intermingles and kind of comes to a head, and everything all links up with not only her father's death and her view of revenge and how she wants to close the chapter on her life. It just all coalesces in a way that it kind of works. Like any other random villain coming in the ninth hour kind of would fuck it up. But in this case, I feel like there's enough seeds planted throughout the story for it to be a natural conclusion.
I kind of like the idea. I think it's good like world building where like the Joker is just a presence and he's around, and like he had a past before he was the Joker, and obviously he'd be connected with people, and whether or not they'd want to acknowledge that depends on the individual. But like what's his name for Salah,
what was his fellow?
The guy with the oxygen mask.
Valestra.
That's it, Valestra. He is desperate. He's in a point of desperation. He's lost two of his. He's lost his two colleagues, and he's had to go. Fucking hell! I didn't want to do this. I've had to go and get the Joker involved, and it's like, yeah, I think that's really good. And he's not. I don't think he's like, because I think on its own, having the storyline of Batman chasing and kind of getting framed by, like, unintentionally maybe, but chasing this phantasm, and then the Joker being like kind of a part of it that like that sort of touches as well. Like it's not, you didn't think it was going to be a part of that plot, but like I think that plot on its own is interesting. It just happens the Joker is also kind of involved with it, which I think he would be in some way. So it's like, I think that's good. He's just this little chaotic element on the edge, and he's in hiding, and he's had to be sought out by someone, and then he comes into the story, and it's like, yeah, man, I'm with you. I like this story as it was. I am not unhappy Joker's come in as well, because he did it quite organically.
That's the thing. It's an organic introduction and kind of like inclusion to the story, whereas some other comic book movies would have just like, oh, this villain's just in here to steal the show. It's just done for the sake of being. And obviously, usually when they use the character like Joker, it is for the sake of having Joker, isn't it? But
well, to be fair, there was a legitimate reason at the time, because as far as the filmmakers knew, this was going to be the end of the series. So the idea is that if this is going to be the end, then we should give the Joker and Mark Hamill a big send-off kind of thing.
Yeah, and it was just the perfect way to do that, I felt.
It's not like you just got Bane in at the end and just went, he's also here.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the Dark Knight trilogy is like,
I know.
As much as I love it, you usually think like the Joker should be saved for the big bad at the end. Like Tim Burton, as much as I love that film, he used the most iconic villain in the first film. So hopefully Matt Reeves, if he does it right when he gets his trilogy, he will close it with the Joker, because it makes sense to build up the stakes to the point where this the penultimate, well, not ultimate guy that you have to close the story with, because it's just these two characters have spent their whole life fighting each other, and they're one of the same, and they're kind of like one without the other kind of situation, and they're so integral to both of them. So I
hadn't even considered that.
That was my thought.
This is the Phantasm is going after Batman's like main villain as well. Like, and he's going like, you can't fucking kill him, for God's sake.
Batman can't do.
What are you doing? This doesn't make sense to her.
It's such a like opposite to what Batman's becoming like mainstream movies now. Like, it's apart from the Batman. But...
yeah.
I mean,
Simon, this is very positive. I'm warning you.
Oh no, I was gonna say like, I mean, Batman and Joker, Batman versus Joker has always been like the climax, because a point that Ben was saying, the Batman has on different storylines killed Joker multiple times. Like, there have been quite a few Joker deaths, like in different like Batman medias, and like every time like Joker dies, essentially Batman, the Bruce Wayne version, dies as well. So it's like, okay, the moment Joker dies, he either retires or he dies as well, or at minimum he goes to jail. And it's just like Batman has ended the moment Joker dies. So it's like it's quite fitting for like this series, because like if they thought they was going to end it and not do season 2 and then Justice League Unlimited, then afterwards, of course, we just kill Joker and end Batman there. That would make sense, I guess. Because like talking Joker deaths, there's so you're right, Rob. What is this something upsetting you? Why do you have a knife?
Oh no, I'm about to eat a mango.
That's such a weird thing. He just swished it around on the camera.
That would have changed that interrogation scene in The Dark Knight, wouldn't it? Just kind of, you want to know why I use a knife? Because I have a mango.
It's like it reminds me of the scene in Dark Knight as well, where Alfred's going about the tangerine and that story about the tangerine, but in Rob's case, it's the mango. Ruby, the size of a tangerine.
Weird. All right.
Oh, guys, I forgot to show you my T-shirt.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Be appropriate.
We all said that. That's good stuff. So Humphrey, have we changed your mind a little bit? Have we altered some? I realise we just forewent the opening statements. But...
Yeah.
No, I mean, like it's like explaining. Goes, why do you like Batman? And it's like, do you really need to explain why you like Batman? Batman's awesome. But it's just like I don't really want this conversation to become why this is better than The Killing Joke, at least the animated version of.
I'd love to do that. Let's go there. No,
I think on that Simon. I do believe that if you do have to explain why you like Batman, that this is a very good film to do it with, because I think this is the one where you get why he's Batman, and that's what's important. I think
that's why it's surprising Dan doesn't have that connection.
I think that's the thing. I think of like the character in the Arkham Asylum games, and obviously that character's been doing things a while, but it is sadly video game dialogue. And like he's just this guy, and he's just like, "I'm gonna go stop the Joker," and then it's just kind of like, "Ooh, it's the world's greatest detective against the world's greatest assassin. Who's gonna win?" And he's like, "Not him," and I'm like, but then you have this guy, and I'm like, this guy is Bruce Wayne, man. He's projecting being a playboy, but like that's all a big front, and he's just like this mysterious kind of entity, really.
Yeah,
but, like,
I mean,
he is projecting himself in a certain way, but like, yeah, he's got a lot of shit working through, and he is not this unstoppable. But this is my sorry, I don't want to turn Pat and Ben off. This is my problem with the Snyder stuff, where he becomes this invincible tank of a man who just fucking obliterates people without even trying. And I'm like, man, you miss out on him being a human and him being vulnerable. Well, I mean,
the human parts are not Batman parts, but the Bruce Wayne parts, to be honest. Because like
Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Well, no.
No, he is.
Well, yes.
This is not your opinion, Simon. This is stupid.
Yeah, but this is the Bruce Wayne is the charming, slightly misogynistic characteristic of being a normal, rich playboy billionaire. That is who his character is, right? That's what his perception of that character would be. Then afterwards, it's Batman, because Batman is, as we watch in the old Tim Burton movies, the real character, and Bruce Wayne is the costume. That's kind of. But like,
my point is Batman is still Bruce Wayne under the mask, and he does like I think you misunderstood the spirit of what I'm saying here. Is just kind of like he doesn't walk into fights with 20 guys and like doesn't leave completely unhurt. Like he has to be sneaky and like use stealth and stuff like that if he wants to get away. But like in this one, it is complete balls to the wall. The police are all surrounding him. He is barely getting out of these, and I'm like, Yeah, that's what.
Oh, right.
That's what we need. I don't like this thing where like he gets punched in the face and he just goes like, yeah, and I'm Batman.
Well, I mean, you say that right. It's just like in the animated series, like all the police are usually very incompetent, but just as we're doing this movie, they suddenly like upgrade themselves and they're like really fucking SWAT team.
The police are so competent in this, and because he manages to outsmart them and escape them barely, that makes it more fucking exciting, doesn't it? Because if they're all just crap,
it's
and
so
he beats
silly.
them all, it doesn't mean anything.
It's so silly, just like it's silly just because in this movie, before he's actually Batman, when he's like analog Batman, before he puts on his suit, they have the same inspector in that police car doing the very cheesy. He drinks his coffee. He doesn't really notice. Then he notices. Then he spits out the coffee thing.
You mean Harvey Bullock? Yeah, he's great.
I'd have loved it if the driver was like, "Can you stop doing that?"
They're so incompetent. Those police officers are so incompetent. But when they go into this movie, chasing Batman with the fucking like assault rifles, and they're so like, "There he is! We saw him!" And it's like they shoot at him non easily. Just go.
They are on him. They got a whole fucking squad on him, and they managed to corner him down into a little like construction site. And it's like, fuck, man, this is tough. How's he gonna get out of this one? It's like, this is really exciting. He's not He's not just wading through like 20 guys.
That's good.
That's a good thing. That's what I think. Kevin Conroy is just a masterclass of not just voice acting, but just representing Batman's character in general. Because to me, I feel that Batman is 3 personas, and Kevin Conroy manages to do all 3. He can do Batman under the mask with the voice and all the detectiveness about him, all the gruffness and all that. You do Batman
pronounced detectivity.
Blah, 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 yes, and you can also do the Bruce Wayne Playboy version, who's just like wooing all these women and going all to these parties and lounging about. He can do that so perfectly, carefree and just like brilliant. And he can also do the Bruce steps just with Alfred, just him being himself without anyone else to over here. And he just does that natural Bruce voice where it's full of emotion and heartbreak. And he also can play.
He can also play the slightly in the future broken Batman, because I always know that Kevin Conroy did his voice. I never knew that there was actually a live action version where he played Bruce Wayne as Batman.
Yeah, he did.
Simon, please don't do this to me.
We won't talk about.
He did play him in live action. Whether he liked the CW or not is another thing.
Please don't cite this.
I won't name the show, but I just saw the clip from Watch Mojo. Let's just say that.
Please don't cite Crisis of Infinite Earths, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but regardless of what you think of that, he was still great.
You want to talk about him being done dirty? It's that.
What one was it? Arrow or the Flash?
It was in one of the
it was Batwoman.
Oh, I didn't watch that piece of shit.
Neither did I. But I saw the clip and I was like, oh, that's it's interesting to see a more older, broken Batman. You know,
are you familiar with this one, Rob?
No, I'm not now.
They flew Kevin Conroy in to play an alternate Batman who had killed the Joker and was basically just like, you got to kill everyone, really. Anyone who's going to commit crime.
Batman on crack, really.
You just got to fucking kill him. And they go, fucking hell, and they kill him.
You
got Kevin Conroy to come in and do this. Conroy, you've got him to do this one.
So they essentially went, hey Kevin, you know how you're really good at being like just the voice of an empathetic Batman? Well, we basically want you to do the opposite of both, please.
We want you, yeah.
Well, but I mean, admittedly speaking, as the actor in him, he probably went, oh, this is kind of interesting, might try it out, you know. Unfortunately, the show wasn't great.
I won't dispute his acting, but the choice to make him go, let's get the one everyone remembers from their childhood for being like a really sympathetic hero. Let's get him to go full fascist. Let's just do that.
To be fair, I do agree. It's kind of like everything you hated about the Snyder's Batman, it's even worse than that one. So
you know what? I will agree.
But regardless,
Mate.
I would,
it
I
was
would
still.
genuinely agree.
I think what they were doing is that they were relying on nostalgia to get the better of everyone. To that, it's so good to see him in the flesh play Batman for real. It's just a shame he wasn't done justice, but I still love to see him in the
Yes,
suit
yeah,
for,
that's-
for the hot 5 minutes he was in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
How are you doing, Humphrey? You all right?
okay.
How's
So
Coral doing? Is she okay?
does she hate us?
Yes. What is that? Okay.
Yeah, Humphrey's playing with his balls.
yes, he is, isn't he?
Someone's got
Fuck.
to.
Oh, and his balls changed color. What the hell? He's
Oh,
getting blue balls now.
It's blue balls. Oh yeah.
It's a Powerball.
Oh.
Quick
Okay.
ragging.
It's wrist training.
Let's leave
Yeah.
that one.
So,
I train my wrists to be stronger.
Got to read all
so
those.
the music
Alan
in
Moore
this
comics.
Batman, yeah. So
Those
the music
heavy,
was so
heavy-
amazing.
Alan Moore comics.
Do you know what? The music is worth
Amazing.
talking about actually, because
It really is.
I think it's really cool that Danny Elfman did it, and it's quite a low budget film.
Oh no, but it's not Danny Elfman though.
Is it not? I thought it was.
No, it's his conductress, the Shirley Walker.
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
She composed it all herself. She only did the conducting for Elfman on the original Batman movies, obviously, but she composed this one all her own.
Well, I
Even
think
so,
that's
even
all
so,
of
it's
Danny
up there.
Elfman's credit goes to her because he didn't show up when it mattered.
Oy, oy, oy.
Yeah,
Really,
for an animated kids film like this, it has such an epic score, just as good as any live action film. So,
Yeah, they got a fucking choir in
Yeah.
singing. Apparently, I don't know how true this is. It did come up. It was like an IMDb like fact. The Latin
Isn't
is
that right?
producer's surnames read backwards.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've
is
heard
it?
that as
Oh,
well.
right,
I know.
right.
It's like, wait, what? That sounds like so many people have cited that from somewhere, but they can't tell us where it's cited from.
I
And
don't-
that's like
I saw it flash up and I was like, I'm not sure how much I believe that, but I kind of
Yeah.
want to believe it.
Yeah.
so silly.
Another cool little bit about the production, actually. Oh, as well. So I found this out by watching a documentary that's on YouTube, and it's worth watching. And it started really. It made me laugh. So at the start, they're talking to one of the people involved in it, and he's kind of like looking at this fact sheet that they've given him, and he's like, "No, it says here that it was produced by Tim Burton. I don't think that's true." I'm like, yeah, that just really made me laugh. But the thing that I was going to say is that all of the scenes were drawn on black paper.
Yeah,
I did
that's
know
the
that.
Art
That's
Deco
awesome.
Gothic style. Yeah, it's I think most
The art
of
gothic,
what?
the art gothic deco style drawn on black paper.
Oh, that's the way they described it supposedly.
There's no other way to do it.
I don't know. That's the way I remember reading about it.
Just
But
put
it's
black
like
paper up and they go, that's halfway there to art gothic deco. I can't even say it.
I can't remember how exactly it read, but that's how I remembered it. Anyways, all of the animated series was done that way. All started off with black paper, so it keeps like that sort of like color scheme, and it's like because it's kind of like gloomy because it's Gotham, right? And it kept all of that for not for both all the series until about Justice League, where they go, "Oh, we can't make it dark paper anymore because it's sometimes it's a bit too positive because it's got like Superman, Green Lantern, and Hawk Girl, which I swear to God was the girl that slapped him threw that drink in his face."
The
I
main
was like-
three.
Say again?
The main three: Superman, Green Lantern, and Hawk Girl.
I don't know. I just like well,
She is
we
part of the
mentioned
league.
Batman already, right?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, apparently a lot of the visuals were inspired by Citizen Kane. because like where you've
I
got
can
like
see that.
you can right once you hear someone say it, it's like, oh yeah, because you've got like those kind of like high contrast shadows and
Yeah, I'm with you. Because I've watched Citizen Kane because I'm a wanker.
Well,
At
what's
least you admit it.
I see you there, Humphrey. You're not slick. Do people want to do favourite scenes? It's gone 11:05.
seems like a good time. I mean, I've already said mine. If I was to choose one, I suppose it would be the grave, just because like, well, yeah, like I said, like not even just things in the film, just what it makes me think of and how I relate to it is quite a lot.
I've also kind of said mine. It's when the bats all come out of the hole in the earth, and
Yeah.
I think Batman's Bruce Wayne's fucking face in that scene. I'm just like, yeah, I bet you are shitting your pants. Like,
The thing is, for me, I feel that why that scene's also another great moment for Batman as a whole, because it's like a moment he's about to propose to the woman of his dreams and the one he wants to spend all the rest of his life with. And the destiny of being Batman is just ever present because the bats just come out of nowhere and just remind him that this is who you are. You can't get out of it. You're not going to have a life with this woman. This is what you're determined to become. So
I'm sorry, Andy. The bats told me. Bats said no.
That's my pride.
It's a no from the. Oh no!
The bats.
Not the bats. I think obviously I don't want to jinx this because I know we're only halfway through, but I'm quite happy that we've got this far without mentioning a fucking action scene as like our favorite scene yet. It's all been character shit.
But Pat's biting his tongue.
Oh yeah, I see you there, Pat.
Well,
Should I go next?
Right.
Oh,
I was gonna say, well, my favourite scene was the final fight between Batman and the Joker, but
It is very.
but
I can see why you liked Killing Joke more.
Yeah. No, but I've got a gripe with the Killing Joke anyway. But that's another.
Was it the shitey dialogue?
Or like how the Killing Joke wasn't really just the Killing Joke; it was something else and the Killing Joke, which is wasted time.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's the issue, isn't it?
Was it the period jokes?
No, well, actually, was it?
Well, I mean,
one of the I think Batgirl was having like a scene with some guy, and then he like insinuates she's on her period, and I was like, "This is God, love being here."
See, that's the thing where the comic book is superior in that regard. None of that's in it. So
Batman just comes up at the end, and she's like, "I need to kill Joker," and he's like, oh, "What are you on the rag?" Like, I'd make that 10 times better, wouldn't it? Guess it's fucking Shark Week, Andy. Jeez. Fucking love Killing Joke. Killing Joke's best Batman content ever, dude.
Best Batman content?
No, it's not the best. No.
Okay. I'll say. I'm surprised that those words came out of your mouth. I was like, wait, is he taking a piss? Oh, he was taking a piss.
It was absolutely.
Alec,
whoosh. Yes.
When I'm doing this face and I'm using this tone of voice, I don't mean it. Unless I do. Just keep you on your toes.
Okay.
Sorry, Humphrey, I interrupted you.
I was going to say Pat can say he's
No, hang on. I didn't interrupt you saying Pat can say things. You were going to say something.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, and then Pat say what your favourite scene was, because he was going to say it.
You were talking about the scene between Batman and Joker having a fight.
Oh, okay. So I was going to say that, but thinking about, I think the scene where she disappears with the Joker is quite a good scene.
Oh, you mean where Mark Hamill does one of the best fucking Joker laughs, right?
Yeah.
Fucking, I can't even get that voice level. Right?
There's no point for him to.
Yeah, it's not a point, right? It's but that level of like that laughter, that crazy laughter that echoes while he disappears into the smoke. Fucking amazing, yes.
And you know what? I'm actually going to praise that fight because I really like that they keep on top of the injury detail. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, the tooth, that's a good sign. And
The same
bleeding.
tooth, the same tooth is missing the whole way through, even when like he loses a tooth like pretty early on, and that same tooth is always missing in every subsequent shot. Batman is scratched in like the same places around his mouth, and they stay consistent. And I was like, that's really fucking good. Really like that.
I feel like that's for throughout the whole movie though, because like
Detail.
like the beginning scene where the mob boss was driving the car and like the glass is broken through and he's got like a cut on his chin and it starts to bleed. And they keep that scene throughout, until he like drives Fast and the Furious way off into the fucking next building. Like you see that he's got the cut and it's starting to bleed. And it's like, oh, that's like such a little detail, but it's kept throughout, like during the things. And it's like even when he's getting chased by the police officers, it's the same like cut on his left arm, and it's like it's all the little it's all the little details.
It's those little things that make you forget it's a cartoon.
Yeah, you're right. It's just that's the standard most of the series had, was because of the detail in the animation, because everything was like they're not doing it for the sake of just making it look cool or anything like that. They're keeping consistency all through every little detail of every little brush stroke and every little ink. And I think that's really cool about the series as a whole, as well as this film, is that the Art Deco kind of design that Sam mentioned. It's just kind of like, what time period is it? Is this like the 1930s?
Do you mean Art Deco, or do you mean it was done on black card?
Yeah, the black card.
I remember people describing it as Gothic Art Deco styling, and I'm like,
you are right. To be fair, I mean, you can see
Art Deco.
Not just Art Deco, Alec. Gothic Art Deco.
Oh, sorry.
It's black or very, very dark.
Gothic Art Deco.
That's the way I remember hearing people say it, and it's
I did too.
Whatever.
Sorry, Rob. You were saying something.
No, I was just backing Simon up.
What I was saying.
I didn't mean cut you off. Go on, keep going. What are you saying?
Yeah, but it's gone further. What Tim Burton did is like, is this Gotham in the 1930s or is it the 1980s? You're not really sure because of how the designs of the cars are and how people smoke constantly and how there's technology, but it's so like lo-fi, and it's just got this kind of weird timeless quality to it. And they pulled that off so well in terms of making it unique, and definitely Batman. Just because you can imagine Batman being in this strange otherworldly city that isn't quite, you're not really sure what time period it is, but it doesn't matter because it just works with the style of him as a character and how you imagine this character of Batman living in the world, he'd be in a city like that.
Because even when you combine it with like, so I was about to go the vehicles, they're not all wearing, and I was just like, no, because that actually adds to it.
Yeah.
Having the architecture make you go, is this the 1930s? Is it this? And then having these big futuristic, like
world of tomorrow,
vehicles,
all the blimps and
all the blimps, all the vehicles transporting
the
guy, like all the police, like the riot police, just like that kind of all adds. That's all kind of part that's what kind of makes Gotham unique in this. It's just this very, very emo city. It's kind of like everything's very terrible.
It's supposed to be New York, right?
Yeah,
it's based on New York.
Yeah.
But I think that's done really well though, because it's quite typical of like an American city that, because I think you forget that America as a country is only like 250 years old. So like most cities in America just like popped up overnight, and they're almost like a freeze frame of the period that they were built in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they've done Gotham really well from that point of view.
You started yesterday, then you accidentally walked into someone the next day, and he went, "Hey, I'm walking here," and you're like, "Oh,
I'm walking here.
Where am I?" And he's like, "New Amsterdam, idiot." And
that was a throwback right to round one.
Yeah, no, round two actually. That was the first film of
round two.
round
two.
That was my second film.
Round two.
What was that?
Midnight
Cowboy.
Yeah, Cowpat. I hated it. Everyone else was lukewarm.
Okay,
I liked it.
I'm looking forward to rewatching it. Because I don't think I was very fair.
I will never rewatch it.
You said you were going to rewatch everything.
Oh,
No,
he
I'm
left.
only rewatching the ones that I didn't hate.
So
Oh,
that's
that
50%.
seems unproductive.
You might not hate it though.
You might be the opposite of Alec. You might like everything more.
You might have only hated it at the time.
So Alec's going to rewatch everything and hate it all, and you're going to rewatch everything and love
I
it.
will never watch Antichrist again.
I mean, Antichrist, I think, is more unlikely that you'll
Yeah.
change your mind on.
Everyone will admit that it's probably wise to skip that.
For context, Simon, if you ever wondered on the origin of I'm walking here, it's from a film called Midnight Cowboy, which is about a guy who decides to come to New York to make his fortune as a gigolo. And Dustin Hoffman, is his gigolo
Right,
manager.
yeah, I know. Oh, wait.
Well said.
Oh, that's from. Oh, I know that scene. I didn't
Yeah.
know where that movie was from. Okay.
Everyone knows that scene, and we all watched it, and we all went, "Oh, that one." So, Dustin Hoffman was the originator of that one.
The whole time that I was in New York, I was annoying Rachel because every time we crossed the road, I was going, "I'm walking here," and then we watched it, and I was like,
I'm impressed you were going around New York doing that and didn't get stabbed.
Yeah, New Yorkers really don't like that. They really get annoyed.
Oh no, sorry, they wouldn't got stabbed. You got shot.
Could be
I was just
both.
followed by a trail of people going, "Oh, it's a chubby Dustin Hoffman with no hair."
I guess he's walking here.
Not anymore.
Right, Pat, you thought you got away with it, but you didn't. What's your favourite scene?
I've sort of got two. So the fight scene between Batman and the Phantasm, I really liked,
Mhm.
and I feel like I had to open with that one because you jinxed it.
Do you know what? I also liked the fight scene between Batman and the Phantasm, but I liked it when they first met and they had like a little tussle.
That's the one I'm on about.
No, I mean when they were Bruce Wayne and Andrea.
Oh, okay. And the other one is when was it the police guys that were trying to arrest Batman, but Gordon was like, "Well, you can go after him if you want, but I'm basically washing my hands of it." He sort of,
The SWAT team.
yeah. So he was fully in support of Batman the whole time. So he's like, Batman doesn't kill people. I really like that scene.
Yeah, it's a really interesting time for Batman actually, because he kind of hasn't got the buy-in of the police, but he's got somebody on the inside who's like willing to shield him a little bit.
And his reputation isn't enough that people will like see him at like a scene where someone got killed and they won't go, "Oi, Batman killed that guy."
Isn't that kind of the point of Batman? He's always been blamed because he is a vigilante.
No, that's Spider-Man. But no, Batman does get it too. Like
Damn
that's not
Spider-Man.
that's not a criticism. It's just that point in his career where he's not so well known that people won't go, "Hey, Batman killed that guy." It's like, no, that comes later. When he's quite early, they'll go, "Hang on a minute, did Batman just fucking kill that guy?" And it's like, no, he didn't. But there's enough there to make you think he did.
That's another cool thing about the Phantasm, because it's like, she just sort of mirrors him in every way. But then also that the first scene where you've got like the big smoke cloud, and then the Phantasm sort of comes through it, and they're like, "Batman," like it's like, yeah, if you were in Gotham at that time, with the reputation that Batman had, you probably would think that Batman was like playing tricks on you.
It's funny you mentioned that again, because and he does kind of mirror him in pretty much every way, except the very crucial way she doesn't.
Yeah,
which is that she does want the vengeance and she doesn't really care. Like she willingly leaves him behind to get her vengeance, and then it's ambiguous whether she did or not. But
and
like
all the killing of the mob bosses with the one mob boss that should definitely, he went to visit the grave. He should have had a gun. He's got mobster henchmen with him that have guns. I feel like a mob boss would have a gun on him just to go, "Oh shit, it's Batman." Have a few shots there. He goes, "Oh wait a second, you're not Batman." I feel like this is early Gotham. Everyone has a gun and they all try to shoot fucking Batman.
They all have guns with no hammers, which is funny.
Oh,
I enjoy that.
I think that was something to do with the sensibles, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
was like,
true.
yeah, just do
'cause-
that. They just keep firing.
Because there was basically a rule that where for a cartoon you couldn't show certain things, and a gun was one of them. But they had somebody on the sensible who was like really supportive of the show, and she was kind of like bending rules for them. And bloody hell,
Sorry.
yeah. So they had somebody on the inside at the censor board, and she was like really lenient and kind of like bending rules. And I think that might have been one of them where it was like, yeah, you can have guns, but like they can't be like too realistic.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough. Because I was about to say, the SWAT team have like laser rifle guns, right? So I was like, yeah, I guess that makes sense because you couldn't make it too realistic. Because after all, this was still only a PG, where PG meant something back then, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and in
So it was
that
like-
documentary that I was watching, the two directors were like,
Actually,
"Yeah, if it wasn't for this woman, there's no way that we would have got away with even making this series. So we owe most of it to her."
That's nice.
But I think that's another thing that I think makes this so good, is because the two guys who directed this, they were just animation artists. Like they weren't anything else, and they got promoted to being producers on Batman the Animated Series just because they wanted to make it so much. And Warner Brothers didn't think it was going to go anywhere, so they were like, "Yeah, if you want to make it, then you two go for it." And so they were immediately like, "All right, I've never done this before, and I don't know what to do. You've never done this before, and you don't know what to do. So where do we go?" Kind of thing. And I think when you've got two guys that are sort of going in with that kind of like, I suppose, inexperience, there's no reason to do anything other than what you want to do.
Is that why there was no marketing for this? And like we only really watched this until we were much older later, right?
Well, it's
Because
supposed to be straight to video. I was going to say straight to DVD, but it predates that.
yeah, as I say, VHS.
It didn't even like it did. I don't think it broke even, but like it like only just fell short. I think it was only done. It was only by like a.
Sadly, it was kind of like the Iron Giant, where Warner Brothers didn't know how to market it, so they just didn't. They just released it and hoped for the best and did fuck all with it, and it kind of just barely made its money back, like Alex said, which is a shame because it was kind of like it's not really a kids' movie in the traditional sense, so it never do that well. But at the same time, they didn't. No one really knew what to expect from it.
The budget was 6 million and the box office was 5.6 million. Like it didn't. It wasn't that. Obviously, it wouldn't have covered everything, but like it.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like it was such a late decision that the last few months of production was basically just them changing the aspect ratio because all of a sudden it was a theatrical release rather than just something that people were going to watch on TV.
Oh, weird. Not know that. When Rob, you're saying you saw like a documentary about the two guys, right? Is this the same ones where they said, "Oh, I didn't really like the voice of the Joker"?
No, it wasn't. They said something about it, which I thought was really nice, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't anything like that.
Oh, okay, because like I searched that, it's like I remember watching a clip where he goes, "Oh yeah, but I don't think I quite like the voice of this Joker," and I was like, "This is Mark Hamill, right? you fucks. He's a very a very quintessential Joker. It's like he's probably." Oh shit! I feel like it's so weird thinking about it now because like talking about all the different types of Batmans and different types of like characteristics is like who portrayed the Joker the best? I feel like Mark Hamill is definitely like the top one of the top. I don't know, is he the best Joker?
I feel like
I think he probably is.
I feel like a lot of people your guys' age, for you guys, I think like Mark Hamill's going to be like kind of your quintessential. He is going to be your Joker, and I think that's why John had a problem with the Joaquin Phoenix one because he wasn't that character.
True, yeah.
Whereas I think someone my age, I remember Heath Ledger.
I did like Heath Ledger Joker though. Yeah, Heath Ledger Joker was quite fun.
He did a really, really good one, but we mine was coloured a little bit by a kid in my class who insisted on doing an impression of Heath Ledger's Joker because he
Oh,
was
it sounds really
good at it.
cringe.
Oh God, you have no idea.
Oh shit!
Some people got him to do it on film, and he thought, "Yeah, I'm performing," and it was like, "No, don't fall for this." Oh, okay, but I think for someone whose first exposure to Batman is The Dark Knight, then yeah, but yeah, if you go back a little ways, so I don't know. It's a tricky one because I think the nice thing with these characters is like you can slot them in to different time periods and kind of see where they land.
I guess it's just a me thing because like I've read like comics with the Joker and Batman, obviously, and like I kind of read them in like Mark Hamill's voice, I guess.
Oh,
You know what I
really?
mean?
Yeah.
And it's because it seems so the oh wait, should I just go spoiler warning and talk about Injustice, God Among Us?
Oh, for God's sake!
But it's like one particular like chapter where like the Joker has like kidnapped a pregnant Lois Lane, and he tried to make Superman kill her, but obviously they stopped him in time, and Superman was about to like murder the Joker, but obviously Batman intervened, but he revealed his name was Bruce, and he was like, "Wait, your name's Bruce? Oh no, this has ruined the whole fun aspect of it. You're no longer Batman. You're just Bruce. It's not fun anymore." But afterwards, like during the car ride back to like Gotham, Joker says something along the lines of, "I wonder what it would be like to kill a baby." Essentially, he wants to kill like Superman's kid, and so essentially, Batman stopped the car for a second and went snap and killed Joker by snapping his neck. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't expect to see that." So I guess like this keeps bringing on the point of like every time Joker dies, Batman has to like die as well, because Bruce afterwards goes to Gotham police station and goes, "This is the Joker. He's dead." He takes off his mask. "I'm Bruce Wayne. I'm the one who killed him. You got to arrest me now." I was like, "Oh, he took vengeance for Superman," and I guess that's quite interesting to see the storyline there. I was like, "Oh, that's it's different," because
I see that less as he took vengeance for Superman and more just the realization he wasn't gonna even stop at babies.
But I read those very like dark and creepy lines, but I still kind of read it in like Mark Hamill's voice because it seemed to suit the dialogue, if you know what I mean.
I'm not sure. Obviously, I don't have enough of an exposure of it compared to you guys. But I'm not sure I can imagine Mark Hamill's Joker saying something like that.
Well, I know what you mean, but I do agree with Simon to an extent that whenever I read any Batman comic, no matter what story or whatever it is, Cameron Conroy and Mark Hamill are the definitive voices in my head of those two characters, just because they just resonated so much with me when I was growing up. Like they did.
Are you sure you don't like this voice?
Yeah, it wasn't the Christian Bale voice. It wasn't anything like that. But it is. But I just feel that they're just like there's so much nuance and character, and just how, especially Mark Hamill's, how he just like his Joker was so playful, but at the same time, it was just all over the place. But so it's hard to explain, but it just screams Joker to me. Yes. And that shows you how good of a voice actor he was.
Genuinely, I don't know where I'm going with it, because like obviously my first exposure to the Joker was like Heath Ledger, and I'm like I really like that interpretation of it, but I don't know, it's like this weird little bit where you go like I really like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, but that's not necessarily, I feel like I understand that character to be kind of like a predecessor of the Joker we understand. So I'm like, I like that character, but that's not necessarily him. So I'm kind of, I don't know. I feel like I need to watch more Mark Hamill ones.
Well, I guess the question is, Alec, which animated Batmans and Jokers have you seen?
I've seen this Joker. I've seen the Arkham Asylum ones, which is Mark Hamill again.
Mm.
And then Killing Joke, which is shit. So I don't...
But that's still Mark Hamill, I'm pretty sure.
Is that still Mark Hamill? Okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's still Mark Hamill, yeah. So
Okay.
it's
I just hated the film.
So it's just
I love that no one's brought up Jared Leto yet, though. Thanks, everybody.
Well, I was going
Why
to
has
say
no one
actually.
brought up Jack Nicholson?
Well, no,
There's a reason for that too. It's because he's.
That's my favourite one.
It is
Well.
favorite Joker, I guess. Because sorry, because I've seen a lot of animated Jokers and Batmans as well. It's just like seeing the style, because like each like unit or each storyline for each Joker and Batman is sometimes, well, most of the time it's Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill. I was about to call him Mark Hamill, sorry. But like
Hamill.
obviously they can't do them, or they can't do. That's why some of like the Batman, some of them other people. Obviously, it's either Troy Baker or it could be I can't remember who does that voice for
Troy
that
Baker. That's an obscure one to lead with.
Troy
Yeah.
Baker does most of the video game ones.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's because I've played the video game ones. Never mind. But it's like he like the other Batman and Jokers are really depending on like which particular animated series that you may or may not have seen, because like, oh shit,
John DiMaggio did it once, didn't he?
Yeah, he was alright.
But he had like a. Didn't Joker have like a big?
The Dreadlock Joker?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the second animated series in the noughties. I did see that. I think it was quite good, but he was a weird, unusual Joker because he didn't wear shoes. And he was a bit of a mad. It was a mad bloke.
He was a really weird Joker because he didn't wear shoes.
Honestly, it's like Emmanuel's favorite Joker because he had the football that.
The key to a good Joker is in the shoes.
That's the great thing about the Joker, though. It's like you've had so many different like versions of the character, and I think if anyone said like the majority of them were their favorite, I don't think I'd argue it. I think the only ones that I'd argue are Jared Leto and what's his name, Zach Galifianakis. Anyone else?
What?
Oh, you mean in the Lego Batman? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I was like,
But I
Zach
think-
Galifianakis, are you feeling all right? And I was like, oh no, okay.
But I think the animated series is part of the reason why we've got so many Jokers, because when they first phoned Mark Hamill and they were like, we want you to come and try this out, he was like, oh man, because it was just after the Tim Burton movies, obviously. So he was like, oh, we've just got this like iconic guy doing this iconic character. Like, how am I going to do that kind of thing? And then when he went into the booth, there was a post-it note on the microphone saying, don't do Nicholson.
That's a good point.
And then underneath, I'd written something. I said, because he's shit. Sorry, Pat.
Yeah, even if you said like Cesar Romero was your favorite Joker, I'd be like, yeah, I can see reasons.
And he was a prick. He didn't even shave his moustache off.
Yeah,
exactly.
So funny.
But yeah, that's what's good about Batman and Joker as characters, because they're so adaptable in a lot of ways. Like you can just do the funny, campy version. You can do this dark, serious, broody version. It's like there's so many different ways to do them, but they can still be those characters.
What are you saying, Ben? And I know exactly when I reference this, no one is going to know what I'm doing because no one remembers this film. But the thing with Joker is that he's kind of more of he's an idea. He's from the Suicide Squad, which no one fucking saw.
No, I did.
shit.
Unfortunately, that's why when you guys said, "Oh yeah, the Suicide Squad was good," I was like, "Are you sure?" No, it's like, no, Simon, the Suicide Squad. Oh right, the other one, right? 'Cause I watched the first
The one where he doesn't appear.
But yeah, the one he doesn't appear is the good one.
The one where he doesn't have damaged on his forehead because Batman broke his
fuck,
face.
you're making me have an aneurysm.
Good old
That.
hunker.
I'll be honest, right? I hated his Joker, but I didn't mind that film.
Oh,
What?
I was so happy with you for a second. Just a brief second.
I mean,
Yeah,
the film wasn't great, but I found it reasonably enjoyable.
I think you must.
Oh, okay.
Well,
After you put a smile on your hand and go.
Joker should never do this. To smile.
yeah, I was gonna say you must have watched a different film to me. Then I had a flashback to us watching it together.
Oh yeah, we went to the premiere, didn't we?
I've never stood in a cinema seat to do a fetal position. I did it in that film.
I saw that twice in the cinema, and I've got it on 4K as well.
Oh,
Sorry, dude.
for fuck's sake.
You should watch that tonight with Love and Thunder as the encore.
No. You should don't watch the end of fucking Snyder Cut. Do you remember the bit at the end of Snyder Cut, Rob, where Joker offers Batman a reach around?
Oh, that's it. That's a Shines.
Yeah.
I thought you did.
Oh man, it's even even like the sepia tone and like it's like what was it like 3.5, 4 hours to get to that?
Well, that was the least interesting part of it. I agree. But anyway, let's talk
Oh,
about
I don't know if
good
I'd go
Jokers
that
and
far.
Batmans.
I mean, none. Pick out the most interesting bit. I bet you can't. Anyway, Mask of the Phantasm.
It's definitely one of the better animated Batman movies. I mean, like,
what? I'm
I
actually
feel-
going to revise my statement on. Sorry, Simon. I'm going to revise my statement. Mark Hamill is the voice I hear.
See?
I've decided. I love Heath Ledger's Joker, but Mark Hamill is who I hear. Just the way he makes. I don't like the script of. I don't like his jokes, but yeah, I know he's not supposed to be funny, but yeah, just the way he kind of like slides into them. You know what I mean? You know, the sort of the register of his voice is like. I can't even imitate it. I don't know what the words are, but it's just like, yeah, Brucey boy. It's like that is
Yeah.
He's all in that bit. Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah, he's
It is Mark Hamill. I decided it's Mark Hamill. Sorry, Simon, continue.
shit, what I was gonna say.
No, sorry.
Well,
Mask of the
like-
Phantasm, go.
yeah, yeah. Killing Joke. Okay, because like I'm thinking this, then I'm thinking like the red mask, or is it the red hood? Sorry, yeah. I was thinking that version of Batman and Joker is good. I don't think is it Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill still. I don't think it is though.
No, I don't think it was. It was another two, but I can't remember who they are.
But it's like the storyline for that particular Batman. Like there's so many because there's quite a few animated Batmans and Joker storylines. It's just like I don't think Killing Joke would be top 5 for me. I feel like there's quite a few. It might be top 10.
It wouldn't be
if
top
anything.
18 for me.
I think Killing Joke would be like maybe a top 5 comic, but the film maybe yeah.
I was going to say that the comic is terrific, but I think the adaptation is a bit lofty.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, yeah, okay, I can agree with that. The adaptation was a bit lofty. Is probably the best way to describe it, because the storyline is quite interesting to see, and very fucked up, obviously, because of what happens in there, sparing all the details. But it's like just seeing it played out was uncomfortable, I guess, to see it. I guess if
I think I read somewhere Alan Moore doesn't even like The Killing Joke and he wrote it.
To be fair, Alan Moore doesn't like anything he does. He hates every adaptation that's ever been made. So
No, he doesn't like
because it's
adaptations. I don't think he'd like. I think he said, "I don't like that comic that I wrote."
Oh yeah,
I think
Oh,
even that's quite common, to be fair. He kind of like finishes what he's working on, and then he's like, I can't believe I've done this.
he's like, I like the art. He says like the art is the only good thing about it. The writing, I hate. Which is fair enough. He never slacks off the artist, which is always awesome. He always hates in his own.
Alan Moore said, "I don't think it's a very good book. It's not saying anything very interesting."
Well, he's his own worst enemy.
There's a
I love Alan.
there's a thing on BBC. I don't know if you guys know it, but you know the masterclass things that they do.
I think I saw this. Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
Where you can essentially like buy a course from somebody who's like an expert in what you want to learn.
Yeah.
So like Edgar Wright has done one on filmmaking and like that kind of thing. And there's one by Alan Moore on writing. And I've never seen any of it, but I'd love to buy it just to see him like, because I can imagine it's just him there, it's him sitting there going like, yeah, I'm not very good at this, but
Read my books; they're terrible. They'll make you better.
I'm not sure why you're listening to me.
Is he Scouse?
No, he's from Birmingham. That was just a bad accent.
I was going to be like, I've got to reevaluate what I think of him now.
I loved his works previously. Then I found out he was Scouse, and now I think he's crap.
Blue Moon all over again.
That's
See
not
what I mean?
Scouse, though, is it?
Oh, Blue Moon, yeah.
As to keep the conversation along, we've talked about Batman and Joker a lot. I need to ask you guys, who I think I've had this conversation with, maybe Ben. Who is your favorite Robin?
Robin. Well, live action or just in general, like voice acting?
Oh, story wise as well. Live action, well, mostly animated because we'll try to keep it with the theme.
I can't remember his name. That's the trouble. The guy that plays him in the animated series is definitive Robin for me.
Yeah, I feel like there's never really been a great live action Robin.
Yeah, like Chris O'Donnell was okay, but obviously the films didn't do Robin justice enough.
Yeah.
Films were shit.
And like the 1966 Robin, like I mean, he's iconic in his own way, but he was basically just there to feed one-liners.
Yeah, he's like Jimmy Jellicoe's Batman.
Holy shark repellent spray Batman.
Yeah, you just love him for that reason. But yeah, he didn't really have much depth outside that. But Ward always did a good job, just like making that character come alive. Like
in fact, we found that compilation, didn't we? When it's all the Robin Holies. And he's like, holy levitation, holy aggravation.
They did everything.
Do you know what? It's a shame that it never happened, right? So I don't know if you guys know about it, but Tim Burton was supposed to be doing like the third Batman, so he was going to do a trilogy. I can't remember what it was going to be called. It's like Batman. It was like Batman Triumphant or something stupid. But he rather than Batman Forever or Batman and Robin, I can't remember which one came next, but he was supposed to do it rather than Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
And the Robin that he cast was Marlon Wayans.
It has been the first black Robin.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember seeing the art of that. He did look like he could have been different, because I think how we would have done it would have been interesting. And I don't know if you know, Rob, there's like a comic book series written by the guy who wrote the Batman and Batman Returns. He actually has written a lot of kind of like an alternative sequel in comic form that you can actually buy now, and I need to check that out.
That's really cool.
It's just called Batman 89, the graphic novel.
Oh, it is? Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay. I thought that was just going to be like Batman 66, where it's just some random person reimagining it.
No, but it's actually the guy himself that wrote.
Oh, that's really cool.
And it has Billy D. Williams' Two-Face,
Nice.
which was a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely, man. You're muted, Alec.
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing.
Just quickly though, another thing that we missed out on from Tim Burton not making that film is Robin Williams as the Riddler.
Oh, that would have been superb.
For a minute, I thought you said Robbie Williams.
Oh, not
Like,
Robbie.
oh,
That would have
no.
been a disaster.
I'd have preferred
Let me riddle you.
Millennium. Oh no, that was the answer.
Yeah, that.
I was gonna say, Rob. Speaking of Robin, do you remember when we did that fancy dress thing?
I
did
remember it
Batman
very
and
well, yeah.
We did that. We went to like a uni night out, and we went as Batman and Robin. Guess which one I was? I was in a cubicle. Rob was Rob was washing his hands, and some guy went, "Hey, Batman, where's Robin?" And I kicked the door, and I went, "Right here, bitch."
That's actually reminded me who my favourite Robin is now.
It's me, innit? It's me.
I know what Pat's going to
No,
say.
Rodney.
Oh, I
think-
was thinking about that the other day. I want to watch that episode again.
Yeah, to be fair, when Rob and Alec dressed up as Batman and Robin, it was literally like only fools and horses brought to life.
I do think we missed a trick though, because we could have been Batman and Robert.
Yeah,
I couldn't have pulled
Oh.
off Batman.
yeah, Pitman and Robert.
Yeah, Pitman and Robert.
Could be done again. Do it next Halloween.
We had the naming convention, just not the spirit. Oh no. Yeah, sorry. Continue. That was literally all I wanted to contribute to the conversation. Sometime I made some guy fucking laugh. Fine. Simon, you haven't given us your favourite scene.
I haven't.
Oh,
I
okay.
guess I haven't. All right.
Oh,
I feel like you.
I was
I
right.
feel like all of the scenes that you guys have talked about are probably like the best scenes in the movie, and definitely like it's hard to choose not one of those scenes because, like, admittedly speaking, I did like, as I call him, analog Batman, like precursor Batman, because when he breaks the window, he's got like that fucking Wolverine hammer, like fucking like smashes into the glass, and it's like, he's not really Batman yet. He's like,
I like that shit though. I like that he hasn't got the shark repellent spray. He's like, I've got a fucking hammer.
but it's fun. It's fun to see that version of pre-Batman, I guess.
Yeah, I that's one of the things that I love about Year One. So I don't know if you've ever read it, but
Yeah,
that kind of period where he's just like wearing a balaclava and stuff is so cool because it's like you see how the balaclava becomes the cow and like the full process behind it, and I don't think you usually get that with heroes.
Yeah, you can see the progression of how the idea forms and how how he becomes Batman. Just like overnight. It's just a gradual change over time where he learns from their mistakes and he improves what he has that works, and he just learns from everything that goes wrong and just refines and keeps trying until he gets the perfect inspiration and he eventually becomes who he is.
Mm.
And then I would say, again, that Mark Hamill laugh is so fucking good, right? Just seeing, and like with all the explosions in the background and work as well, then him falling into that very clean sewer system. I saw that, and I was just like, that water should be a lot more brown. I feel it's just like it felt it's like, oh, maybe because no one's used it for such a long time, it's been just left there.
It didn't even occur to me. He just falls into the sewage system, and he's just like, wow, I can open my eyes and everything.
It's this sewage water is very clean. It's like,
why was anyone flushing this?
But yeah, it's so hard to say because, like, admittedly speaking, though, this movie is a lot of it is done in flashback, right? Because like the scene, because it starts off with him off in party, goes off, has a flashback. Then afterwards, him progressing through the story a bit, going back to the grave, having another flashback. And it's like, how many flashbacks have we done in this film? We've done at least 3 flashbacks, and it feels like it's too much to do. But I feel like this is a thing that happened in story writing for the animated time, especially with Warner Brothers, because like I feel like there was a joke about it. It's like, did you just have a flashback scene while we're in a flashback scene? We can't keep doing this. We got to have a contract to say we can't do a flashback within a flashback. It's too much now. And it's like, oh yeah, I guess. But it's like because the scene with his parents and stuff is incredibly like sombering and sad. Happening during the flashback scene, I was like, it took just the teeniest bit of like enjoyment of, or not enjoyment, the story of, because like if he did it because he's went back to his grave so many times, and it's just like just took like that one like half point off, and it's like, yeah, that's for us. It just annoyed me just a tinge, but still a very amazing scene because it still shows his like guilt and all of the guilt that he went through during that particular, during the whole story. And so still great. It's during flashback scene. It's just annoyed me.
I even like how they're structured though, because like every time he has a flashback, it gets worse.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't say I had a problem with them. I have a couple of problems with it, but they are in no means making this one a bad one. Oh, you're all gonna just fucking moan at me for this. I think some of the fights are a little bit shit. I'm just gonna say it. I think him hiding under a table, and also running under a table while someone's shooting at him and then pushing the table up, I think that's a little bit crappy. There's just some like, it happened like often enough where I was like, I don't like the fighting in this. I don't think it's even when he takes a bomb to the face. It's like a full fucking explosion. I'm like, sorry, I can't do it. That's yeah. The other one I had was when Joker shows up to fucking what's his name, Reeves's place, Reeves's office, and Andy's just left Bruce's mansion. And she calls him and just after making plans with Bruce to go to his that night, she's like, sorry man, I can't show up for lunch. I'll show up with you tonight, later. I'll see you then. And then Joker goes, that's a coincidence, isn't it? Well, and then he just gives him the gas, I guess, to make him.
Oh, I think it's like a syringe poison. It's the weird, like viscous liquid in the syringe that is all like MacGuffin stuff that always do for like fucking Warner Brothers.
Yeah. And that all leads to Batman finding out that Andy's a target, going back to her apartment at the same time that Joker sends an attack that's mounted on something from the future world thing. And then he goes, I gotta go to the future, the future Gotham thingy. And then he knows where to go. Like, that all comes out of this conversation that, like, I don't think Andy has any reason to make. I don't understand why she calls him. I watched it a couple of times and I was like, why is she calling it? She just made plans with Bruce. She's now making conflicting plans with him. Why is she calling now? And it's like, it's because the Joker's there.
Mm-hmm.
So the Joker can hear. And so the plot can progress. But I was like, it just really didn't sit right with me that and like they kind of lampshade it where Joker goes, this is weird, and I'm like, yes, it is. On closer examination, it's really fucking weird, actually. I don't know why she does that. She's not trying to target him, I don't think. If she is, she doesn't know the Joker's there. So I don't know what she's accomplishing here, other than going like, I'm not going to show up at your fucking place, you idiot. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. It does not break the film. It's still like it's still an 8 as far as I'm concerned, but
Yeah.
it just it facilitates quite a lot of the plot and gives Batman information.
Well, I mean, like, I gave that as just being like the story is a bit coincidental because it's a cartoon, right? Especially when he gets the red marker and he's looking at the picture and he goes, "Huh?
I love
Wait a
that.
second."
I did really
Oh
like
no!
that scene.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's such a iconic.
all these
cartoon
people
moment,
look
isn't it?
more like the Joker when I draw a little red smile on them.
Yeah, that really made me laugh. Actually. That's the kind of thing that you could only get away with in a comic. If that was a
That's what
live
I'm saying,
action,
right? Because like,
Well, that's the thing. It wouldn't work in live action, but it works so well in animation.
I know exactly what you're going for, but this is really funny.
yeah,
it was silly, but it was acceptable silly because it's a Batman cartoon. I was like, it's like, yeah, sure, why not?
yeah. I had a lot of fun imagining Christian Bale doing it.
God, wait a minute. Where is he? Where is he?
Oh, but there was a scene like that.
This guy looks more like the Joker.
But like even in the Dark Knight, Heath Ledger's got the scar. Like just imagining Christian Bale going, "Hang on, if that was red."
But
guy looks so familiar to me.
there was a scene like that in
Detective.
this movie where he goes to the hospital and he's confronting the chairman, and he's just like, "Tell me what I need to know." And and as chairman, the guy is like trying not to laugh,
Yeah,
tell him,
he's got the gas.
Yeah, but that's quite I feel like the voice acting for that scene is pretty good as well. Because like, imagine you're having to talk but laugh at the same time, but not like laughing at the same time, but trying to pretend you're not laughing at the same
Yeah.
time. So I was like, if you imagine you got that as like a description, it's like you have to speak and laugh at the same time, but try to hold back the laughter, like you're not purposely laughing. Like, how do you do that? But it's done quite well, I think, because like he's still trying to tell Batman the information, but while he's going, going crazy.
That is a perfect example of like how good voice acting really is. And so something like laughing is so hard to like do convincingly well because it's so easy to spot when it's fake. And the actors all that did this film were just superb at it because it just sounded so genuine and real, and like it's an emotion you can't really do as well as you're really experiencing it. So it's so impressively done for both Mark Hamill and that guy who did them. What's that character's voice? Reeves, and
Arthur Reeves.
Yeah, they were both superb.
I just wanted to note that I wasn't laughing at you mispronouncing laughing. I was laughing. It shows you how good voice acting is. It's like, yes, just in general. Anyone doing it, it's great.
That's fine.
But yeah, that was like the only bit to me that stood out. Just Andy calls to just, I don't know, for no reason, I guess, just so Joker can find out they're connected and then facilitate that stuff. But I will say, I do really like that Gotham of the Future scene where he sees the car.
Oh, the Batmobile inspiration.
He gets a bit like fixated on. He's like, that's an interesting bit of something. And I'm like, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I really like that. I don't know. It's another sort of like little bit of characterization that really works because it's like, yeah, you've got all this deep stuff going on, but he is still a billionaire who's attracted to shiny things. And that's why
I need that kind of dick. Like, Jesus, that looks like a great little bit of kid.
Yeah.
Even though the idea that you're like, if I'm going to be a superhero, I'm going to need some kind of car. And I'm like, not in New York. You'll get fucking nowhere.
Yeah, that's why you got the plane.
Yeah, that's exactly why he used the plane. Also, I did have to laugh a little bit at the sequence where he's chasing the Phantasm in the plane, and the Phantasm seems to be like skating on smoke at high speed, and I was like, bless you guys. That's so cute.
No, actually, I was thinking about it actually now. I was like, did they clamp his fucking plane? Because I remember like he got chased to that fucking like yeah. Because like I looked at it, I was like, did they were trying to get into his plane, but they like locked it down. It looked like they clamped his plane. I got to double check that scene now because that's the way it looked like. It's like
they just sent him a letter, just like
fine.
you better pay us £75 if you want your plane back, and he's like, okay, cool.
I can buy a new plane. I don't need it.
Keep my fucking plane. Yeah, see, if Humphrey had mentioned these things, he's like, hey, the structural integrity of this has fallen. I'll be like, I don't think it's that drastic, but sure. Like, I
think
see.
if he'd have mentioned that, I would have argued that it's definitely not a 5.
Yeah, I'd go, that's more valid than I was expecting, but it is still not a 5.
Like, I'll accept that it's a bit silly, but it's not a 5.
Not at all.
Because he went to sleep, I guess. It's just like, I feel like he just didn't. I don't know if he didn't like the story because it was too cartoony or it was like the animation style. Because because getting to do a 5 is such bullshit, right? It's like it kind of like.
It's okay to not enjoy it to the level of a 5.
If he didn't enjoy it as a 5, fine. That's him. Subjective, objective, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't care. It's his choice. But the story-wise, it's really good. So sad that he made it a 5.
I can only assume, and I'm not saying this is like something against Dan because I think it's easily done. I can only assume that he missed the point of it because I think it's quite easy to write it off as a love story, but it's a lot more than that.
It's more. It's just the story about people going through grief. If we really want to break it down, then I feel like if you're going through like the stages of grief and like going how people deal with grief is probably the best way to describe this movie. Like obviously he's got this guilt and his conscience and it hurts him, but he wants to be happy. But obviously fate sets aside that he can't be happy because everything happens and it's like, I guess I can't be happy anymore. I just have to continue on being the Dark Knight.
Because I guess you could. I guess if you like took a kid to see this and they went, there wasn't that much action in it, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not really a kid's movie.
I can kind of see.
Well,
I kind of see like
it
wasn't all action all the time. It wasn't like a Zack Snyder film. But like, you know,
praise the Zack.
No.
What the fuck?
It wasn't a juvenile fucking crappy like, but yeah, like the I think the character stuff is what elevates it, and like so I can see on like a surface level, I guess, if you were like, nah, boring, but like.
That's the thing is for me and Rob especially is that it is definitive Batman in every way you can think of because every motivation, every characteristic, every all the plot is just called Batman. So I think it's just strange that you would argue against it not being. Do you know what I mean? It's just, what is there about it that isn't faithful to the comic?
Even to say it does him dirty. I don't think. I don't think that
Batman's too soppy. He has a love life and he has romantic feelings.
That's not something
desires.
I'd claim in a million years. Like that, this does him dirty. I don't think that's true at all.
No. I think it only does him dirty if you literally just see it as a love story. and yeah, literally nothing else.
Mm.
And you still get the Joker versus Batman dynamic in it as well. So it kind of ticks all the boxes to me. Because if it was like just Andrea versus Batman, no Joker in this at all, no Mark Hamill, nothing. Maybe Dan's point would be like, okay, yeah, change it might be better because it has the Joker versus Batman age-old tussle that you always want to come in to expect. But it does that too. It has both. So that's what's so confusing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's like I said earlier. Like I don't. Well, the only way that I can reason it is that maybe like Dan wasn't tuning into that stuff for some reason. Because I think if you're a fan of Batman, you kind of have to be a fan of this on some level.
Yeah.
Like it's, yeah.
Oh,
And that-
so you're
that
saying
have-
that
that-
Dan doesn't like Batman?
No.
I
We're
just don't
saying
think
the
he got
opposite
this
of that.
film.
With
Oh.
like that happens. That definitely happens where like you miss the point of something.
Hmm.
I had it with Space Jam. Like yeah, all right.
Right?
Pat had it with everything else. No, but
Yeah.
no, I was just joking. But yeah, no,
I wasn't.
Never jokes.
and that happens. Humphrey can keep his Batman fan card. I just it's a weird criticism to levy if you were plugged in with it.
Mm, yeah. I don't know. Maybe watching it with Coral as well. I suppose because it's one of those things, and if the person you're watching it with isn't liking it, then you can be influenced by it.
Yeah, it would rub off. And I admit that it can do that. But I think maybe because I'm biased, because it's a film that I grew up with, and it's something I had a deep personal connection with anyway. Hence why I'm so like warm to it regardless. But like Rob says, it's like it still holds up to this day because of how well it was written at the time. And nothing really dates it in this sense. Even the animation to this day and age is probably dated, but that gives it its charm and it gives it its kind of like point in history.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say it's not. Thank God they didn't do the 3D animation route with Batman. Christ Almighty, because that was during the time where like the opening credits had a little bit of it where you went
that
through,
was
like,
CG. Yeah,
it was CG, right?
That's
But-
the only bit.
Yeah, that's the only bit because like during this time, everything else that was superheroes were going through that weird CG transitional period, and it's just like, oh, thank God they didn't do CG. It would have been so bad. Because they didn't have the technology for it yet, and this movie wasn't even marketed properly. If they did CG, it would just have been so much worse.
Yeah. I think they made a lot of good choices on it.
Except for marketing. No one knows about this film, really. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's a shame. But it's
It was
definitely
interesting.
sensitive time.
Yeah, everybody knows about Zack Snyder. It's just
Good for you, Alec. But yeah, Rob.
fuck you, Alec. But also, Rob, what were you saying?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, just on the animation, like, I think it's amazing that it holds up so well, really, when you think about like how simple the character designs are. Because like even Batman, like he's basically just block colors and a chin.
Yeah, it's just one line for his mouth. That's it. Yeah, that's what's so good about
You're
them.
not wrong, but like, you need to put him out like that.
No, I'm saying I say it as a credit that they managed to make such an iconic like version of Batman out of that.
It's just the diamond eyes and the line for the mouth. It's perfect.
Oh, my Toys R Us thing. That just reminded me. So another one of like my earliest memories of Batman is going to Toys R Us and getting like this little like metal figure of this version of Batman that was like this big, which looks like it's as big as my head, but that's a camera trick. But yeah, so it's about maybe like 6 inches big. But yeah, I wasn't really going anywhere with it. That was just one of my earliest memories, and I'm quite fond of it.
Oh. Bless you.
Yeah, I had all the action figures when I was little too, like all the little like Stealth Pursuit Batman and like Cold Night Batman and all like the little Batman gimmick toys that he had with the animated series and the film. So I just had a lot of them. Good memories they were.
Oh, you watched the Sub-Zero film the other day, right?
Yeah, I did. I think it isn't anywhere as good as this, but as a Mr. Freeze story, it is brilliant and quite touching in ways.
Okay. Oh, right. Sorry, because you said Sub-Zero. I was like, there's an
Not the
animated
guy from
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat movie? What the fuck are you guys
It's
talking
called,
about?
it's just called Sub-Zero. Yeah.
Yeah, really
nothing
confused
to-
for a second.
Batman tricks him because he brings in Scorpion and he just offsets him.
Oh man, do you want to talk about weird Batman crossovers? Fucking
No,
hell.
no, I don't.
Actually, there's one Batman
No, I
crossover that
don't.
was quite good. I just know I knew about it just like recently. It's when
I hope you're going to say the one that I like.
Batman and the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Fucking, it was so surprisingly good because
Is that the one where like it gets like memed where he's like, "This is when my parents died, Raphael." Is that one?
well, no, it's
Dude.
just like the main reason that it was so good is because Batman fights like the Shredder, but it was so fucking well done. We're like, I never knew about this, but the fact that I've seen this, I can't unsee this, and it's so goddamn glorious to see them actually have a proper like proper choreographed fight with him breaking like the knives of like Shredder's arm parts, and Shredder has to like fucking like do
You know what? Just when you said Batman crossovers with Ninja Turtles, I was like, okay. And then you said Batman has a fight with Shredder, and I was like, oh. The little child
really
in me
good.
just went,
we
need to get that.
It's very well done.
We need to see that right
now.
now.
The other parts of the film were like, I could take it or leave it. It doesn't matter, right? But that fight scene was so amazing. I was like, let's just watch that. You could probably find it on YouTube. But it's so good.
I'm just picturing Batman hanging out with fucking like the turtles, and they're like, "Hey, pizza, bro." And he's like,
that happens.
There's a scene where there is a scene where that happens. And Batman's just stood there like,
it's the scene. It goes like this. Batman comes in and goes, "No, you can't leave yet." And everyone's staring at him all intensely. He's like, "Because it's pizza time."
"Oh, fuck. I need this comic."
Just fucking burst out laughing because it was so funny just to see him say that. And I was just like, "Oh my god!"
I need this comic right now.
I've pasted the Batman face to that.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
I'm
so excited.
His face is just.
It's so good. It's so good.
To be fair, on this tangent, did you guys know that they did a Batman and Scooby-Doo crossover?
Yeah,
Batman and what?
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
Oh yeah.
That's probably just as funny.
Oh my god! Can someone link me to this Batman Ninja Turtles thing?
Because I know about that because I was doing my little like deep dive research to it. There was a Scooby-Doo and Mark Hamill thing, and like, "Oh, Mr. Hamill, you sure know not about Batman?" He goes, "Oh, I have my sources." And he starts doing the Joker laugh. He goes, "Oh, sorry, I had something stuck in my throat." And you see Velma and like everyone else like stare at each other and go, "Okay, that was weird." And it's like, yeah, I'll break the fourth wall jokes. Very great.
The only one I know is when he's like, "Okay, guys, we'll take you back to the Bat Cave and we'll have bat milk and bat cookies." And Shaggy goes, "Bat milk?"
But actually, which is the problem? It's so great.
I was so close to picking Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island this round.
I have a Scooby-Doo film that I do want to pick. Rob knows what one it is as well.
Wait, which one?
The Sonny and Cher one.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's a classic one.
I thought you were going to go the one with Buffy the Vampire Slayer in it.
Oh, you mean Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yeah, that's all. I saw 2 interviews of it and I was like, why is Scooby-Doo so cool? And Buffy goes, it's just, it's like a team of like kids, and like it's not like gender specific or anything. Like, it's girls working with guys, and they work together and solve the mystery, and it's like so cool. And like it's not a girl show or a guy show. It's just a thing. And then it cuts to the guy who played Fred. He goes, "It's a talking dog. It's great. It's amazing. Kids just love it."
Go fucking die.
On that note,
It's good.
Mask of the Phantasm. It's good.
Good.
Or you could say it's fantastic.
Oh, but with a PH, like a
Fantastic.
phantasmic. Oh no.
Ben, I think we might be getting Alec around to the idea of puns.
Yes, we are. I think he's
I
converted.
just like them to have effort. That's all.
Awesome.
I like them to be punny.
Yes, the best kind.
There's a line. There's a line you can walk where it's punny and that you put effort in.
And it's
Not like the ones that John posts where that neither of them happen. What was the one the fucking other day? No, Ben did it. Ben said one, and I was like, that was actually really good. No, it was the rabbit one.
Oh, the rabbit one.
Yeah, it was like what? I can't do it justice. I'm gonna. What was the other one? Oh yeah, Simon. I have I have a Polish friend who's a sound technician.
I know this one.
And I have a Czech one. A Czech one too.
I check one too. Check one too.
Yeah, but those are just like bad dad jokes, isn't it? Right?
No, that one's a fucking glorious dad joke. That's a great pun.
I'm
just
known
check
at
your
work for
puns.
dad jokes, and I'm one of the few people that don't have a kid.
Can I tell you?
There's a dad joke in that in this statement itself.
Did I tell you guys about Rachel's sister's daughter the other day about what happened at her school?
No.
Oh, I was crying, man. So basically, she came home with a poppy that they'd made, and on the poppy in the centre, it said, "This is for my nanny in heaven." And so they were like, "Your nanny in heaven?" She was like, "Yeah, I told them that my nanny lives in heaven." And they were like, "No, your nanny lives in Devon."
Oh, that's pretty sweet. To be fair.
Oh no, John's in Devon.
Look at him. Oh shit. Just imagine explaining that. Oh my god.
Oh, when I was at, I went to Ronan's party thing the other week. I was talking to all his mates in Devon, and they were like, "Oh, have you been to Devon?" And I was like, "Yeah. My friend lives in Barnstable." They went, "Oh, that's not a great." No. Sounds like factory fucking.
Well, John seems to love it.
City estate crap place.
Yeah,
No, you
John
need to go
does
to
indeed.
different places than that.
I think we know why John loves living where he lives. Because he never leaves the house.
Yeah. Anyway, it's great if you've just got like the bit that you own and nothing else.
But I mean, he did that in Dagenham as well, so I don't see the difference.
I suppose the difference is that Nick's in close proximity.
Yeah, and his home is a bit larger inside.
And we are still recording.
He ain't gonna watch this.
That's true. That's very true.
I just hope that nobody else in Barnstable does. And
Let's just hope that none of this is featured in the 40 hours of God of War.
Let's
I
go
think-
on to. I think we've wrapped up for Mask of the Phantasm. Do you wanna? What was the choice for Emmanuel's movie? Because it was Emmanuel's choice,
Well,
right?
Oh, hang on.
yeah, but there
okay.
is a bit of an issue with it.
That's the mystery.
Yeah. There's a mysterious element to this.
So I've searched the name of the film that Emmanuel said on Letterboxd, right? And so there's a 1957 one with Audrey Hepburn, which, he said it was a classic, so maybe. But there's also a film from Hong Kong named High. Oh no, it's not. No, it's from Japan. Sorry, Simon. There's a film from Japan called High School Funny Face Club Movie, and
What the?
I wouldn't be surprised if Emmanuel was picking that and accidentally shortening the title.
I don't know.
That's
I think
actually possible.
no,
She's
I
not
Did he
don't
wrong.
tell
know.
you though
I
that he
don't
was
think
picking an
so.
English language film? This
Yeah, that's the
Yes, he did. Well
thing. So
done.
it has
Pat.
to be
Yeah.
the
I'm-
original.
I listen sometimes.
I mean, worst comes to worst, we can ask him tomorrow. Like,
I like the do it. He's gone. Yeah, it's called Funny Face, and you're like, yeah, no, it's Funny Face High School Cock Psycho.
Well, the thing is, the way he phrased it, he sort of just said it in one breath, and it's like classic funny face.
Mm.
Like, what the fuck's that?
Oh, there is
Well-
actually there is a Hong Kong film called Funny Face as well
Oh
from
no,
1984.
which could be a classic in some people's eyes.
We
Okay.
just have to wait
1984?
till he wakes up.
No one
Yeah,
watch
okay,
it
let's-
tonight. Whatever
let's-
it is.
But-
let's.
To be fair, this Funny Face has 0 reviews on Letterboxd, so it's probably not this one. But it does have quite a funny poster, which I shall show you.
I will bet good money that it's the Audrey Hepburn one.
So,
I think
I
it
think
likely is.
I think it's funny that Emmanuel's picked something and he's gone, "Is this one?" And there's like one choice, and we're like,
are we sure?
"It's not
Might
Korean."
Yeah, with the manual, it could be any of the foreign language films.
It's not Korean, and I'm not sure.
The next film for Emmanuel's pick is called Funny Face.
Yeah. And it's not the one related to the poster that I just put in the chat. I just like the poster.
It's definitely not that one.
You'd really confuse Humphrey if you looked at the chat.
Exactly.
Which he
So
doesn't.
this is the
Oh
next
my
stuff.
gosh! Oh my gosh!
That funny ass, more like.
I was about to flash it on the screen, and I thought, nah, it's funny if you just leave it there.
You know what? That was such a great moment that I'm naming the chat that.
Oh, funny ass.
Funny ass.
Oh,
mate.
mate, can you put? Can we just? I mean, I know it's Emmanuel's pick, right? But can we just say, Emmanuel, is this your movie?
Funny ass. mate.
Okay.
What could be the emoji?
Oh man, bless.
Oh, a peach.
Yeah.
For the sake of it.
Yes, yes.
We do it.
Right, where's the peach emoji? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Capiche.
It's
Yeah, so I think the evidence is pointing towards the Audrey Hepburn one.
it has to be.
If anyone, yeah. Yeah. No, that's just clarify. But
Oh,
it probably is that one.
Yeah, we'll just ask him when he wakes up. It's fine. We've got time. As worst comes to worst, someone watches the wrong one early and it watches the right one later.
I just looked at it again. Oh, what's wrong with people from Hong Kong?
Oh, apparently this is a musical. So
Oh, I
we've got,
bet.
Pat's
we've got
gonna be
another
like,
one
oh,
pushing The Greatest Showman down, which is good.
uh-huh.
Another one pushing it up in my book.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Sorry, Pat, you've got to stop lying to yourself.
It's a vile film.
If I have to, I will pick
I will
Mamma
do
Mia.
it. Why would you do that?
I feel like that hurts your point, if anything.
Yeah.
I don't care if the rest of you.
Oh,
That
Pat
was
muted
me.
himself. He's
I don't know.
he
I
says
don't know
like
if you lagged
self-
out. I don't know if you lagged out there, but all I heard was, I don't care for the rest of you.
I said, I don't care the rest of you are miserable that week. I'll enjoy myself.
I've been trying to avoid watching Mamma Mia for the 6 years that me and Rachel have been together.
Yeah, to be fair, so right.
Hmm.
I like the idea that you're like going like, I'm tired of the amount of shit that gets sent to The Greatest Showman, so now I'm going to give you a Meryl Streep film where she sings ABBA songs.
It's not. It's not. Mamma Mia is not like that bad. It's okay. It's a bit weird.
Simon, get out. Get out.
Do you not have? Oh, Scott, Pat, what'd you say?
I was like, to be fair, the musical that I'm more likely to pick first would be Grease.
I'd quite like you to pick Grease, to be honest.
Just
I
'cause
really wanna
it's-
watch that.
It's a film that I watched a lot growing up, and I played a part in my school play in it as well.
You could do a double bill of
Hold on,
Grease
hold on,
and
hold
Jersey
on.
Boys.
Hold on.
Yeah.
What?
What part did you play in Greece?
I was part of the T-Birds.
Wait, weren't they the? Oh, they must have been the Blakes, I suppose.
Yeah. I think they were anyway. I might have completely got it wrong. Hold on, give me 1 sec.
Oh, look.
Shut up in the wrong costume.
I wasn't in a dress.
Look at me. I'm
Yeah, it was the
Kenny.
blokes. It was the blokes.
Okay.
But I remember the guy who played the character John Travolta played in my school. He was like so charismatic. He was perfect for it. I genuinely thought he was going to go on and be an actor, but I haven't seen him anywhere. So
Oh, man. No, I'd really like you to pick Grease.
Or Grease 2.
Yeah.
nah, it'll be just
Grease
Grease. But don't expect me to act out anything. I've been retired for years.
That'd be a wonderful call if you just recreated the whole film.
I picked Greece and I got chills. They multiply.
You've made me sound like Gary.
I
sure
met
enough.
Gary once, so
He's quite an impressionable bloke.
Not
Yeah,
that
sure, why not?
It could be Humphrey though. Oh shit.
But where did that come from, Simon?
What? I've had I've had like so I've had some
Oh, right. I just saw you like pull something from nowhere and then eat it, and I was like, "What?"
I mean,
That
like,
is a bit-
it's off screen, right?
Rob, that's another Garyism as well.
Pulling things from nowhere and then eat it.
I do genuinely feel that Simon sometimes reminds me of Gary.
No,
Yeah, I
what
see
a-
that.
what a insult.
The sort of good funny aspects of him.
I mean, you're not talking about Wan, are you? Or, I don't know.
Oh no,
No,
not
no,
Gary
no.
Wan, no. That would have been quite controversial.
I was like, I don't know. I haven't seen him for ages.
I
Nah,
haven't seen
Gary
him
that I
since
went to
school.
school with.
Oh, okay, cool. Got really confused. Oh, actually, there's a few questions I would like to ask you guys about school stuff, but I think it would be best if we end the live. I don't want to